Hello to your box out there, it's a brand new week, so you guys know what that means. A new week with lots of new adventures to be had. I'm going to be taking you guys along on my adventures that I get to this week. It's Monday and I was doing 9 till 3 at work, so I got myself up early, ready for work, and it took me a while to get up this morning. I just did not want to be getting up that early. I haven't got up that early for a work shift for a while, so I got up and had a cup of tea and some lemon curd toast using the last little bit of my lemon curd, and put on some music to get me up and at 'em, and I was listening to a bit of Kylie and a bit of Madonna, and I was listening to a bit of Shania Twain, and she's got a new album coming out soon, which is very exciting. I then head off to work, and whilst on my way to work I was listening to music on my headphones, enjoyed the lovely sunshine and blue skies, and I got some flower starts whilst on my way up to work, and I'll show you guys those. I had a lovely walk up to work and was able to get some really pretty flower snaps. Such lovely roses out and about at the moment. I then got into work, I got clocked in and put my bag away. I got my drink out that I got to have for work and had some of that, and it was just me and one other colleague on shift, and I helped open up the cafe, and it was quite quiet to start off with, so I was just doing some deep cleaning jobs, and a few of our workers came in, so I was chatting with them. I doing some food and drink orders and drinks, making and wanting some of the food and drinks, and there was lots of people ordering tea cakes, and the tea cakes looked so good. And then it picked up, and with the sunshine it brought everybody out, so we had lots of people sitting inside as well as outside. So I was wearing lots of food and drinks and doing lots of food and drink orders and drinks making and cleaning lots of tables inside as well as outside, and we had quite a lot of big groups in. And my colleague who I was on shift with was the barista, so she literally had coffee coming out of her ears. It was insane, it was so busy, and I was on bar doing quite a lot of the food and drink orders. I'm on most of the food and drinks on the floor and tidying up the floor, and then it calmed down again, so I was just polishing cutlery, putting some clean cups and plates away, and then I finished at 3 o'clock and clocked off, got changed in this top that I had in my bag, and I got 2 mirror selfies after work after getting changed into this top, and I'll show you guys those. I then went off and had like one sort of child shots and popped to the bookshop. I love the smell of old books so much, and I went into T.G. Jones and was having a look at some of the stationery in there, and was this close to getting this notebook, but I didn't need any more stationery at the moment, but it doesn't have to have a little look, does it? And then I saw my grandma and was having a nice chat with her, and she went off to one of the shops. I then popped into Aldi and like the Best Buy section, and I went off to one of the cafes, and my grandma was in there, so I went and joined her for a drink, and I got a peach iced tea that I'm sure the peach iced teas they do in there are so delicious, and I sat and had a lovely catch up with my grandma. I then went off to have a look around some more of the shops, and then saw 2 of my mates I go to morning group with on Friday mornings in one of the cafes, and one of them wasn't in on Friday morning as they weren't very well, but they're feeling a lot better now, bless them, and I was having a lovely catch up with them. And on the way up from there I got some mirror selfies from there that I'll show you guys. We've got such beautiful mirrors and prints and lanterns in that cafe. I then head off to the flower shop, and I got some flower snaps from there that I'll show you guys. They always have such beautiful bouquets of flowers with such lovely colourful flowers, and it all smells so good in there. I then was having a lovely chat with the flower shop keepers in there, and got some plant snaps that I'll show you guys. They've always got such beautiful plant displays in the windows with all the succulents and cactuses and pretty patterned leaves and pretty plant pots with all the pretty patterns on, and those tomato soup plant pots they have in there are so cute. I then got some mirror selfies from there that I'll show you guys. I was able to get some really pretty mirror selfies from that flower shop. One of them was with this mirror with all these plants around the mirror, and another one with this mirror with all these bouquets of flowers in front of it, which is so pretty. They're such beautiful mirrors. I then made my way back from there, and whilst on my way back I was listening to music on my headphones, enjoying the sunshine and blue skies, and I always got to wear my hat, do not want to be burning my head. And I then got home and had a pot noodle for my lunch. I haven't had a pot noodle in ages, and I had a cup of tea with a Belgian bun, and I always eat the cherry last. The cherry is my favourite bit of a Belgian bun. I then watched some TV and listened to a bit of music, and I put my work clothes in the wash. I'm now off until Wednesday evening, and then my mum and dad took my younger sister off for a doctor's appointment, and I was playing with Bear out in the garden, keeping him entertained as he always gets a bit anxious whenever my dad goes anywhere. My dad's his favourite person, so he does get a little bit stressed out when my dad has to go anywhere, and then he zonked out. I then sorted my Bluetooth doll into a new look, and I'll show you guys that. Here's my Bluetooth doll's newest look. Starting off with the shoes, she's got these black high heel boots with some laces on, and then some black netting stockings. She then has this blue and pink patchwork checkered dress with some white ruffles on the bottom of the dress, and then she has this white striped jumper underneath with some pretty lace sleeves, and then she has her black hat, and this is the whole look. I then got some snaps of my Bluetooth Dolls new look to post onto my Bluetooth Dolls Instagram account, and then I just watched some episodes of Young Royals, and then my mum and dad and younger sister got back from my younger sister's doctor's appointment, and they got McDonald's for tea, and I'm sure you guys. The McDonald's that I had for my tea was so delicious, and the hot apple pies they do are so delicious. I then finished writing my journal entry for today, put that away, and I'm now off to go and watch today's Home and Away and UK Soaps and New Love Island, and just see you for more to vlog tomorrow. It's now Tuesday, and I got up after a little bit of a lie-in. I then had some breakfast, and I had some Cookie Crisp cereal for my breakfast, and it's such a good cereal. I was then watching a little bit of TV and had some bear cuddles, and it was a lovely sunny day with beautiful blue skies, and I then got showered and changed and just listened to a bit of music, worked on a little bit of my short story that I've been working on at the moment, and watched some vlogs and TikToks and funny dog and cat videos and cinema videos, and just worked on some new illustrations, cut some of those in, and was reading a little bit more of The Last Romeo, and had a cup of tea and some custard cream biscuits, and then I got myself ready to go off for a walk, and I got my hat on and my bag and headphones and head off on my walk. And whilst on my walk I was enjoying the lovely sunshine and blue skies, and there was a little bit of a breeze as well, and it would go overcast every so often, and I love overcast weather. It's probably my favourite type of weather. Not too hot, not too cold, just that perfect type of weather, which is probably my favourite. And I then got some flower snaps whilst on my walk, and I'll show you guys. I was able to get some really beautiful flower snaps whilst on my walk. Lots of beautiful coloured flowers. Those blue ones I got a snap of are so pretty, and all the lovely yellow roses. I then got into the high street, and I went off and I went to the charity shops, went off to the boot shop and to Hugh Jones and into Aldi, and I looked at the Best Buy section, and then went off to one of the cafes, and I got a caramel hot chocolate from there that I'll show you guys. The caramel hot chocolates that they do in there are so delicious. I then sat and chilled in there for a little bit, and they had some really good music playing, and then on my way out I got some mirror stuff from there. They've always got really pretty mirrors in there and really cute wallpaper and prints in there. I then went off and I went around some more of the shops and headed off to Surroundings. One of my favourite little shops to go into is this craft shop. Just has lots of really cool bits of stationery, notebooks and socks and art prints and all things that I love, and I got some snacks from there that I'll show you guys. They've always got really pretty displays in there and sell some really cool stuff. I've got some really cool things from there before, and I got this notebook from there today, and it says "Too much panic, not enough disco." I love a play on words. I then went into my workplace. Jenny and Tash were on shift, so I was having a nice chat with them, and we're having a barbecue tonight at Jen's for games night, so I'm very excited about that. I love a barbecue, and we all got given some bits to get for the games night barbecue. I then went off to have a look around some more of the shops and saw two of my regulars from work in Costa, so I went in and chatted with them, and then on the way up from there I got two mirror selfies from this really cute mirror with this really funky plant wallpaper behind it, and I'll show you guys. That wallpaper is so cute. I would love to have that in my bedroom. Maybe when I move out with Tash, I'll get that wallpaper. It's just such a cute wallpaper with all the pretty patterned leaves all over it. I then made my way back, and as I was getting home, the bus pulled up at the bus stop at the bottom of my road, so I decided to have an impromptu trip to Armsby Garden Centre. So I hopped on the bus, got to the garden centre and headed off straight towards the plant section, and I got some plant stats on there that show you. That plant section is huge, and they always have such impressive plant displays in there with all the beautiful leaves, with all the pretty patterns on, all the plant pots and the succulents and cactuses. I then headed off to have a look around at the stationery section, at the notebooks and all the pretty prints and mugs and tote bags and stuff they have in there, and all the home section stuff, and I look at the sweet section as well, and all the cute little plushies. And then I got some flower stats on the shoe guys days. They have such beautiful days with such a way of beautiful colours, and was having a lovely look around there. I then got 3 mirror selfies from this outside area where they have a load of mirrors that you can have up in your garden, and she goes days. They've got such beautiful mirrors in that little mirror section. I then went off and had a look around at some more of the home section, and they have some really cute pillows and bits like that that I'm thinking about getting when me and Tash move in together. And then I got some more flower stats and she goes days. I just love flower photography and plant photography, especially all of the beautiful dahlias and roses. They're just such beautiful flowers with all the lovely colours and patterns on them. I then got the bus back, and I got the bus back outside of Aldi and popped into there and got myself some chicken Caesar wraps, and it was a free pack, so I had those on my way back for my lunch, and then popped to One Stop to get pop for tonight and some strawberries, some chocolate and some flumps. It didn't have any marshmallows, but I got some flumps instead, which are basically the same, as I think we're going to be doing some s'mores tonight after the barbecue, which is very exciting. And then I got back, and my dad had just got back from taking Bear for his walk, and my mum was at my grandma's where she goes most Tuesdays, and I'm now off to go and write a bit of my journal entry for today, and then just show before Jigsaw this evening. I do on Tuesday evenings, and I've got my Jigsaw top on the banister ready to get into, and I'll be putting this top in my little bodycross bag that I'm going to be taking with me so that I can get changed into that. And then my dad's going to be bringing up the bag with the stuff for the barbecue when picking me up tonight, and just see you with a bit more to vlog when I'm back from Jigsaw and games night this evening. It's late on in the evening now, and I'm back from being a Jigsaw volunteering that I do on Tuesday nights. I'm from Jen's for games night, and we're having a barbecue, and I was very excited about that. And then I got myself ready for Jigsaw, and I got dropped to Jigsaw by my dad, and I got into Jigsaw and we're heading off to the park. So we got a little trolley to take some toys and games for the kids to play with, and we took along our sensory dog Albus, who is so cute. We then got to the park, and the kids were playing on the swings and slides and roundabouts, and we were playing some card games that we brought along, and we played this one card game called Sounds Delicious, where we had to make the sound that we'd got on the cards, and you either had easy ones, medium ones or hard ones, and I kept getting a load of hard ones, and you had to make the sound of what it was, and the people had to guess what it was. So that was really fun to play. And I then went on swings and went on the zip wire, and I don't remember it going that fast when I was younger. We then headed back to Jigsaw, and it was the end of the session, and I'm not going to be at Jigsaw next Tuesday as my birthday is on Wednesday. So my older brother and girlfriend and older sister are taking me out for a little joint birthday celebration for me and my older brother's girlfriend, whose birthday is right next to mine, and I'm very excited for that. And then I got picked up by my dad, who had brought along the bag with some of the bits I got for the barbecue in, and I got changed into this t-shirt. He then dropped me down to Jen's, where Amelia, Tash, Jazz and Jen were out in the garden. Jen was on the barbecue getting all the meats cooked, and we had a lovely spread of salad stuff, and we had some pop that I brought along. I had some cherry cola in this really cute little glass, little mug, and sat out in the garden chilling. It did rain a little bit, it had gone a bit overcast, but it was actually like a little drizzle, and it was actually quite refreshing, and I love that earthy smell that the rain leaves. And then we had our barbecue, and it was so good. Jen did such a great job, and Tash and Amelia and me getting this barbecue all sorted out, and it was the first one I had for a while, and it was so good. And I'm going to show you guys some snaps I got off the barbecue. The barbecue was so good, I definitely ate way too much. We then chilled out in the garden for a little bit and then headed back inside to play some games. Tasha put along this game where you have a board with lots of colours all over it, and a person will have a card, and they will then say a word that is the colour on the board that you are then trying to use your counter to put on what you think the colour is. And they only say one word at first and then 2 words, and that was really fun. And then you have this little black thing where you move it along, and it's like a ruler with points around it, and you put it around where the counters are, and the ones that have got closer to it then get points, and you then move along, and it goes to 20 to 25 or to more, and that's if it's over that much you then win. Your contest to get there first, and I won the second time playing it, and I managed to win it. And then it was the end of game start. We all pretty pooped, and we then got dropped back. Amelia dropped me back with Tash and Jazz, and I got in and I watched today's Home and Away and UK soaps, and then was just having a nice chat with my mum about how the evening had been, and about Jigsaw and the barbecue, and how I'd won the game. And then I was just finishing off one of my newest illustrations, and I'll show you guys a clip of that. Here's one of my newest illustrations for you guys. She has these black high-heel boots on, and then she's got some black acrylic nails, very long acrylic nails. She's got a handbag, she's got a wing on, and then she has this heart-cut puffy gown on with this long flared sleeve top underneath, which is off the shoulder, and this little ruched bit here, and it's got a corset. She then has this cross necklace and a little choker, and she's got her hair in space buns. But the face is probably one of my favourite faces I've done in one of my illustrations for a very long time. I love the winged eyeliner and the lashes and the lips and the details on the face. It's just so beautiful. I then got some snaps of my new illustration and posted those onto my Instagram illustration account. And I'm now off to go and watch new Love Island and just see more to vlog tomorrow. It's now Wednesday, and I got up after a little bit of a lie-in. I then had some breakfast, and for my breakfast I had some buttered toast with a cup of tea. I was then just watching a bit of TV and listening to some music. I had some bear cuddles, and my dad had gone fishing, which he does most Wednesdays, so Bear was a little bit anxious. Always it gets a little bit funny whenever Dad goes off out. So I was playing with him in the garden to kind of keep him busy, and he then zonked out on the sofa. I was then just working on a little bit of my short story that I've been working on, listening to a bit of music. I was just tidying up my office and Dolls and Dollhouse. I watched some vlogs and TikToks and some funny dog and cat videos, and was just listening to a bit of Kylie, and watched the Heartstopper movie trailer, which is out in July, and I was an emotional mess just watching the trailer, so God knows what I'm going to be like when watching the film. I do not want Heartstopper to end. I love it so much. I'm not ready to say goodbye. I was then just tidying up my doll display in the spare room, and got 2 mirror selfies from the mirror in there, and I'll show you guys those. A mirror in the spare room is so beautiful, all the pretty colours and patterns around that mirror, and I love that you can see my doll displays in the spare room in those 2 selfies I got, and I'm loving how my doll display in there is looking, with some of my favourite dolls and Unboxed dolls in there. I then watched a little bit of Will and Grace. I love that show so much, it's so funny. I then had a cup of tea, some custard cream biscuits, and was reading a little bit more of The Last Romeo, and then just tidied up my office and dollhouse a little bit, and then I got myself ready to go off for a walk. So I got my bag and my headphones and my hat on, and I then headed off on my walk. And whilst on my walk, I was listening to music on my headphones, and I ended up taking my hat off and putting it in my bag as it had gone overcast, so I didn't need to worry about the sun coming out and burning my scalp. So I put that in my bag and was just having a lovely stroll. And I love overcast weather. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's that perfect mixture of the both, and there's a little bit of a breeze as well, which is so good. And whilst on my walk, I got some flour snacks and the sugar staves. I had a lovely stroll and was able to get some really beautiful flower snacks. There's so many beautiful flowers out and about at the moment, lots of lovely roses with beautiful colours and patterns on, and it just smells so good with all the beautiful pink blossoms. And then I made my way up to the high street and went off and unlocked myself the charge shops. I went off to the boat shop and into Aldi, and then I went into one of the cafes and I had a chai latte and this ginormous cookie from there, and the sugar star. They always do such good chai lattes in there, and the cookie was ginormous and that was delicious. I then chilled in there for a little bit, and then on the way out I popped to the bathroom and ended up getting this mirror side from there, and I'll show you guys that. That mirror is so cute with the lanterns either side, and the portrait with the dog with the birthday hat on is so adorable. I then made my way back, and whilst on my way back I was listening to music on my headphones, listened to a bit of Lady Gaga, and I got some more flour snacks on the She Goes days. I loved to walk back, getting some more beautiful flour snacks, and was listening to a bit of Dido, and ended up having to put my hat back on as the sun came out and it got quite hot and I was absolutely melting. I then bumped into one of my family friends who was taking their dog for a walk, so I was having a lovely chat with them. I then got home and cooled off by the fan. I then had some lunch and I had some sausage sandwiches with a cup of tea, and I've got my work uniform ready for work this evening. I'm doing a 6 till close, and I'm now off to go and read some more of The Last Romeo and have a cup of tea and some more custard cream biscuits and just chill before going off to work this evening, and just see you with a bit more to vlog when I'm back from work this evening. It's late on in the evening now and I'm back from being at my work shift. I'd worked doing 6 till close, so I got myself ready for work. My mum then dropped me off to work. I then got into work, I got clocked in and put my bag away and got my drink out that I'd got to have for work. I had some of that, and it was just me and one other colleague on shift. So I was doing lots of food and drink orders, buying lots of food and drinks, cleaning tables, just getting on with loads of the cleaning and clothes jobs that I could get done. And we had people sitting outside as well as inside, as it was quite a nice evening. So I was cleaning lots of glasses from the tables outside as well. And we finished at about 10:30ish in the end, and I got clocked out, got my bag, and I got picked up by my mum. I then got home and got into my PJs, and I'm now not in work until Saturday daytime, so I've got the next 2 days off, and I'm planning to go off into town tomorrow, go off to Sparks and to the flower shop and to R2's, get myself a little sweet treat. And it's supposed to be nice and sunny, so I'll be definitely having to wear my hat and lots of sun cream, do not want to be burning. And I then had my tea, and my dad had gone fishing, and on the way back from fishing had got us all fish and chips. I had some fish and chips, and I'll show you guys that. The fish and chips I had for my tea was so delicious. I didn't finish my journal entry for today, put that away, and I'm now off to go and watch today's Home Away and UK soaps, and then catch up on some of my favourite YouTubers' new vlogs. Got a lot of vlogs to catch up on, and I'll see you with more to vlog tomorrow. It's now Thursday, and I got up early, ready to go off into town for a little solo trip, and I had some porridge for my breakfast, watched a bit of TV, listened to a bit of music, and had some bear cuddles and played with him out in the garden. I then headed off, and I got my bag and my headphones on and headed off to get the bus into town. And whilst waiting for the bus, I was just sat listening to some music on my headphones. The bus then arrived, and I got the bus into town, and I headed off to go to R2. It's this really cute cafe, and they do such beautiful cakes and cookies, and they have them all in the window with what you can get. So I was having a good look through the window at all of the lovely cakes, and I ended up getting a bit of this Biscoff cake and had that with a chai latte, and they do coconut milk, so I had coconut milk in my chai latte and sat and had that, and I'm sure you guys a snap of that. It's so cozy in there. I was having a lovely chat with the people on shift in there who are so lovely, and I then on the way out from there got 2 mirror selfies, and I'm sure you guys those. That mirror is so pretty. I then headed off to go to the flower shop I always love to go to whenever I'm in town, and headed in there, and it was pretty busy in there, so I waited for it to quieten down, and I got some flower stats on there that I'm sure you guys. They've always got such beautiful bouquets of flowers in there, lovely colourful flowers, and they had some dried flower bouquets as well, and they had lots of bouquets inside of the shop and also outside of the front of the shop. So I was having a lovely look around at all the beautiful flowers, and it smelled so good in there with all the fresh flowers in. I then got some plants out from a plant section, I'm sure you guys. They've always got such beautiful plant displays with all the succulents and cactuses and pretty patented leaves and plant pots, and have lots of plants hanging down from the ceiling and in the windows. Look at a little jungle in there. I was then having a lovely chat with the flower shop keepers in there, and then I headed off to have a look around some of the shops in Cabot, and then went off to Sparks, this really cool creative place where there's lots of vintage clothes and stationery and notebooks and books and plants, everything that I love in there, and there's lots of independent stools. So I was having a lovely look around at all of the different stools, and I got some mirror size from there, as they have some really funky mirrors in that place, and I'm sure you guys do. I love a mirror selfie, as you guys know. I was able to get some really cute mirror selfies from there. I then came across this really cool store with lots of retro stuff like lunch boxes and dresses with stuff from the 90s and 2000s on, and jackets, and got some stuff on there to show you guys. That 101 Dalmatians lunchbox is so cute, one of my favourite Disney films. When I was younger, Glenn Close, who plays Cruella in the 1996 version, which is probably my favourite version, used to absolutely terrify me. Whenever she would shout, I used to end up running out of the room. She was pretty freaky, but it's just so camp, and the outfits from that movie are so iconic. I then ended up getting some more mirror selfies. I'm going to show you guys those. I ended up getting so many mirror selfies from that place. They have so many beautiful mirrors in that place. I was then having a lovely chat with some of the people who work in there, and they're so lovely in there. I then went off and had a look around some more of the shops. I went into Typo and had a look around at some of the notebooks. I love the notebooks in there, they're so cute. I also popped to the Lego shop and went off to Urban Outfitters, and then got the bus back. I got the bus back to Aldi's bus stop, and then went off and had a look in Aldi at the Best Buy section, and went off to have a look outside the child shop, to the book shop, and then I went off and got myself a cheese onion pasty from Greggs, and got myself a drink from the corner shop, and had that drink and the cheese onion pasty on my walk back. And the cheese onion pasty was humongous. It was really like it was like really puffed out, so it was ginormous, and it was so delicious. I then was just listening to music on my headphones on my way back, and it'd been overcast, and I thought I had my hat in my bag that I'd taken with me. I did not, and the sun came out, so I was like, oh great, I'm gonna have a head looking like a tomato. But luckily I managed to not burn, thankfully. I did not want to be having a tomato head. I then got back, and me and my mum were just watching a little bit of Stargate. I then was playing with Bear out in the garden, and my dad took Bear off for his walk. We waited till it had gotten a little bit cooler in the evening, as we didn't want it to be too hot for him. so he was getting a little bit impatient, was barking a little bit, because they normally go about 4ish, they went at about 5ish instead. And I've just put on the live action 101 Dalmatians, as I couldn't stop thinking about that movie after seeing that 101 Dalmatians lunchbox in Sparks. And I'm just going to be working on some illustrations. I've just started my new illustration book. It's always a bit stressful and a bit daunting starting the first illustration on the first clean page of an illustration book, but it's going really well, fingers crossed. And I'm just going to be chilling and watching 101 Dalmatians before going to touch rugby this evening. I've got my touch rugby stuff all ready, and we'll see you with a bit more of the vlog later on this evening. It's late on in the evening now, and I'm back for being at touch rugby, so I got myself ready for touch rugby, and then my older brother came and picked me up, and we headed down to the pitch and helped set up. And we had touch rugby a little bit earlier than normal, as my older brother and sister and some of the other players had to go down to the rugby club for a rugby club meeting straight afterwards. And we had quite a good turnout. Tash arrived, and so did Jen and the kids, and I was doing some really good passing and catching and running with the ball. Didn't score a try this time, but was doing so well not to fall over, and I didn't fall over thankfully this time round. And we had so much fun. You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun, as it went really quickly. We had 4 teams, so we were rotating and playing each of the teams, and it was just so much fun. I'm loving having touch rugby back. And then Jen and Isla had a little picnic, and so we joined them afterwards, and they served us some little picky bits, which was really cute, and we just chilled. And it was quite nice for me and Tash to be able to sit down. My legs were absolutely killing me after touch rugby. And then Jenny dropped me and Tash back to ours, and I got in and got showered and changed and got into my PJs, and then I made myself a beans and cheese on toast for my tea, and I'll show you guys that. I sat out here and I had my beans and cheese on toast for my tea, and it was so delicious. And it's so peaceful out here, just hearing the birds singing, and this tablecloth on this table that I'm filming to you guys at is so pretty, and I hadn't had a beans and cheese on toast in so long. And I'm now off to go and finish writing my journal entry for today, put that away, and then I'm going to be watching today's Home and Away, UK Soaps and Love Island, and to see more of the vlog tomorrow. It's now Friday, it's the end of the week and almost the weekend, and I hope you guys all having a lovely Friday. I got up early ready to go off to morning group and had some toast and a cup of tea for my breakfast, and I had some lemon curd toast with a cup of tea, watched a little bit of TV, had some bear cuddles, and was playing with him out in the garden with his favourite rope toy. And it was a lovely sunny day of beautiful blue skies. There's a little bit of a breeze as well, so it's not too hot, thankfully. I then got dropped to morning group. I got to morning group and was having a lovely chat with the people at morning group, asking how their weeks have been so far. And then we were doing a little bit of arts and crafts. I always love doing arts and crafts at morning group. I'm always being very creative and love doing arts and crafts and bits like that. And we were doing some coasters for tea or coffee, and we were cutting bits out of magazines to then use a stick to then roll it up and then stick it onto a bit of cardboard and make these little tea coasters. And this one is probably my favourite one out of the two. It's a Kylie Minogue with a heart on it, and it has her eyes and her lips. It was from an article from her Netflix documentary series that came out last month, I want to say, and I saw the eyes and was like, I know that face from anywhere. And I love this one as well. There's a lot of colour on this one as well, and tested it out when we had our coffee and tea break with some chocolate biscuits, and it worked really well. Put my tea on the coasters and it didn't fall off. I was a little bit worried that it would not work and it'd go everywhere, but it managed to stay on the coaster nicely. And then it was the end of the session, and just before finishing we did some colouring pages and I did some new illustrations, and they were all saying how nice my illustrations were, which is really sweet of them. And next time I see them I'll be 29, and they all wished me a lovely birthday for Wednesday. And then I got picked up by my mum and she dropped me off to Dobby's, my happy place. I love that garden centre so much, and I got into the garden centre and headed off to go to the flower section, and I got some flower sets on there to show you guys. We've got so many beautiful flowers up in that garden centre at the moment. Lots of beautiful roses and sunflowers and dahlias, some of my favourite flowers to get snaps of. I was having a lovely look around there, all the beautiful flowers. I then headed off to the home section and had a look around there, and I got some snaps from there to show you guys. We've got such cute home displays with all the tote bags and the pretty vases and all the lovely summery bits. I then went off and had a look at the sweet section and at the plushies and notebooks and at some more of the stationery, and then went off to the little clothes shop they have in the garden centre and was having a look at some of the t-shirts in there. I then got some selfies in front of some of the home sections, all like home displays kind of like they have up in IKEA. And then I went off to the cafe and I got a custard slice with a pot of tea, and I'll show you guys that. The custard slice and the pot of tea that I had from the cafe was so delicious. I then sat and chilled in there for a little bit. It had aircon in the cafe, so it was kind of nice to chill in there and cool down a little bit as it had gotten a little bit hot. I was then chatting with one of my mates who works in the cafe, and they wished me a lovely birthday for Wednesday. And then I went off to the plant section and got some plant snacks from there to show you guys. They've got a load of new plant displays in there with lots of lovely succulents and cactuses and pretty patterned leaves and really cute plant pots. They've got some sea creature plant pots in at the moment, which are so adorable. I then got some more flower snaps and I'm going to show you guys those. I love flower and plant photography so much, and that yellow and red flower snap that I got is so beautiful. I love those flowers. I then headed back, and whilst on my way back I was listening to music on my headphones, enjoying the lovely sunshine and blue skies, and got my hat on as I didn't want to be burning my head. And I then stopped off at one stop and got my dad's Father's Day card and present, and got myself a drink for work tomorrow evening and a drink for the walk back as it got quite hot, and had that to help cool me down. And I got some cash out for the week ahead, as I like to spend cash and not be tapping on my card as much, as I like to be able to see how much I'm spending. I then got back, and for my lunch I had some tuna mayonnaise sandwiches with a cup of tea and some biscuits, had some bear cuddles, and me and my mum were watching a little bit of the tennis, and my dad got his disco stuff ready to go off to my primary school fair, and he's doing the music playing and prize announcements and the entertainment, like the country dancing and stuff like that they're going to be doing. And me, Jen and the kids who now go to Marlbrook, where I went many moons ago, are heading down there with Tash this evening, which would be nice. And then I'm going to be popping down for a little bit and then heading back, as we're having a movie night and games night tonight. And I've got some pizza and some popcorn and sweets for us to have, and we're going to be watching The Faraway Tree. It's for my grandma for her birthday, which is on the 14th of June. We've got a few little activities planned for her coming up, and the first one is the movie night this evening, which I'm very excited about, and I am hostess for the mostess and all that, and you'll see with a bit more vlog later on. It's late on in the evening now, and I had a great time down at my primary school's summer fair. My dad was there doing the music playing and the prize announcements and things like that. I got there and I met up with Jen and the kids were performing in the choir, so I watched that with Jen, and they did really well, and they did songs that I remember doing when I went to that school many moons ago. I was then having a look around at some of the stools, and I did a lucky dip and ended up winning this like bath bomb set, and I wasn't going to have it, and so I turned to Jen and was like, do you want this? And she was like, yeah, sure. So I gave that to her, and then I had a look around some more of the stools, and then I headed off back to set up for the movie evening that we were having for my grandma, and my older sister had brought grandma over, and my older brother and his girlfriend and younger brother and his girlfriend then arrived, and for our tea we had some pizzas, and then we got up the Magic Faraway Tree on Amazon Prime that my grandma wanted to watch. She loves the book and has wanted to watch the film for ages, So we watched that this evening, and it had Andrew Garfield in, and I love anything with that guy, and he's such a hunk, and it was such a great film. And we had some popcorn and some Doritos and some Maltesers, and I'm going to show you guys snaps of the movie night. It was such a lovely movie night this evening, and everyone headed off home. I then finished writing my journal entry for today, put that away, and then watched today's Home Away and UK soaps, and I'm now off to go and watch brand new Love Island and to see more to vlog tomorrow. It's now Saturday, and I hope you guys are all having a lovely start to your weekend. I got up early and I didn't have work until 11, so I was heading off to go to a car boot sale down at the Rugby Club, and I had some toast in the cafe for breakfast, watched a little bit of TV, and I was having some bear cuddles and listened to a bit of music. And then my dad and myself then went down to my Rugby Club's car boot sale, had a lovely look around there. It wasn't anything that really took my fancy, so I didn't end up getting anything from there. And we went down for about 10, and then we left for about 10:17, so I still had quite a lot of time to kill. So my dad dropped me off at the high street, and I popped into the flower shop and got some flower sets from there that I'll show you guys. Always got such beautiful bouquets of flowers in there with lovely colours, lots of beautiful roses, and it smelled so good in there with all the fresh flowers in. And then I was having a lovely chat with the flower shopkeepers in there and got some plant sets from there that I'll show you guys. They always have such beautiful window displays in that flower shop with such beautiful plants, succulents and cactuses and pretty patterned leaves and plant pots. I then headed off to have a look around some of the charity shops. I went off to the book shop and to Aldi and had a look at the Best Buy section and to the Card Factory and one of the craft shops. And then I got into work. I got clocked in and put my bag away. I got my drink out to have for work, and I had some of that, and it was pretty busy. We had quite a lot of big groups in for coffees and for breakfast, so I was wearing lots of coffees at breakfast and saw the burgers, and it was a lovely sunny day, so we had a lot of people sitting outside, ourselves inside, those cleaning tables inside and outside, and I saw and chatted to a lot of the regulars, and we had a great team on and a great music players playing, so I got myself singing along to some of the songs. I was cleaning tables, and I was chatting with Tash, who was in pot wash, and she was smashing it in pot wash, and she was playing Lady Gaga in pot wash. So every time I go in to take day cuts or place in there, I'd have a good sing song, love a bit of Lady Gaga. So I can't believe me, Tash and Jazz saw her live last October. And then I was just running lots of food and drinks, doing some food and drink orders, and there's 4 of us out front. 1 was on coffee, 2 on bar, and I was mainly on floor running most of the food and drinks. I did hop on bar when needed, but other than that I was mainly on floor, and I was cleaning tables left, right and centre, getting them all cleaned, because I'd clean a table and then I'd blink and it'd be dirty again. And we had quite a busy lunch rush as well, which made it go quite quick. I then finished at 3 o'clock. Me, Tash and Jazz all finished at 3, and they're back in this evening. They're on split shifts, and me, Tash and Jazz popped to the Card Factory so that Tash and Jazz could get their Father's Day card and gift. And then Jazz headed home, and me and Tash then went off into some of the shops to get some beauty stuff for Rocky Horror in July for me playing Frankfurter, and I cannot wait to dress up and go full on drag. And then we went off to Co-op and I got myself some lunch from there, and then wished Tash a lovely break before her second part of her split shift, and then she headed home. I then made my way back, was listening to music on my headphones, enjoying the lovely sunshine and blue skies, and then I got back and I put my dirty work clothes in the wash and got my clean uniform ready for work tomorrow night. I'm doing a 6 till close, so I get the daytime to relax and enjoy with my dad for Father's Day. And then I had my meal deal that I got from Co-op. I had some chicken and stuffing sandwiches, an Oasis, such a great drink. Haven't had an Oasis in ages. Had the blackcurrant one, which is so good, and had some carrot and hummus. And then I was just sorting out the makeup that I got for Rocky Horror, and she does a clip of that. I got some makeup for when I go as Frankfurter at Wacky Horror in July with Tash, Jazz and Amelia. I went to Savers and Boots and got some bits. So I got this Super Smoke eyeliner, an ultra defined brow pencil, some eyelashes, and I've got some eyelash glue and eyelash glue remover, and then got the iconic red lip and some foundation and some eyeshadow, and they are like a dark navy blue colour, and I can't wait to experiment with this. And I've got this pencil case that reminds me of the iconic opening with the red lips that I'm going to put all of this in, and I'm so excited to get in full glam as Frankfurter for Wacky Horror, and can't wait for you guys to see it too. I then had a little play around with some of the makeup. I tried to do the wing eyeliner. Surprised I didn't pick my out, but yeah, I am really looking forward to getting in full on drag. Tash is going to be doing my makeup, as she is really good at doing makeup and special effect makeup and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to me being her blank canvas and her painting me like one of her French girls. And then my dad had taken Bear off for a walk. He then got back and I was just listening to a bit of music, working on some more illustrations and kind of some dozing, and read some more of The Last Romeo. It was a little bit of a slow burner, but I'm actually really enjoying it now. I've gotten into it and had a cup of tea and some of my custard cream biscuits. I was then just working on some illustrations and kind of some dozing. My dad and Ben got back, and Dad popped to the shops to get stuff for tea. He then got back and I was just watching some vlogs and TikToks and some funny dog and cat videos and some sea lion videos. And then for my tea, I had some hot dogs, and I'm sure you guys do. The hot dogs that I had for my tea were so delicious. I love hot dogs, and I'm now off to go and finish writing my journal entry for today, put that away, and then just finish watching Penelope that I've just put on. Probably one of my favourite movies of all time. It's so good, and I am then just going to be chilling and probably work on some more of my short story that I've been working on, and shall see you with more to vlog tomorrow. It's now Sunday, and I hope you guys are all having a lovely Sunday West. I got up after a little bit of a lie-in. I then got showered and changed and had some toast and a cup of tea for my breakfast, and just watched a little bit of TV, listened to some music, and was having some bear cuddles and played with him with his favourite rope toy. And I wished my dad happy Father's Day, posting on to my social medias, and he had gone off to play golf with my brothers, so I was giving him his card and his present when he got back from that. I then was just watching some stuff off record to catch up on, just a bit of music. I was just working on some new illustrations and kind of some dozing. I made a little bit more of The Last Romeo and had a cup of tea, some custard cream biscuits, and just tidied up my office and my dolls and dollhouse, and got my uniform ready for work this evening. I'm doing 6 till close, and I'm off for 4 days. Got 3 days off, and it's my birthday on Wednesday. Cannot believe I'm going to be 29, the big 29, the last of my 20s. Oh my gosh, it is so crazy. I then was just listening to a bit of Kylie and was just working a little bit for my short story that I've been working on at the moment. I then pre-ordered these 2 Monster High dolls from the new line called Moonspell dolls, and one of them is blind, the other one has a hearing aid. I love the diversity of these dolls, and I'm sure you guys snap of these dolls that I've pre-ordered. They're such beautiful dolls, and I cannot wait to have them in my collection. I then got myself ready to go off for a lovely Sunday stroll, enjoying the sunshine and blue skies, and we're supposed to be going to get a heat wave, so I'm definitely going to be wearing lots of sun cream and my hat. You don't want to be burning. On my birthday it's supposed to be it's supposed to feel like 37 degrees, which is insane, and so I'm definitely going to be having to wear a lot of sun cream. I then head off on my walk, had my hat on and got my bag and my headphones and listened to music whilst on my walk, and I put in a lot of sun cream, and there's a little bit of a breeze which is quite nice, and I went off and we got some flower snaps whilst on my walk. I was able to get some really beautiful rose snaps whilst on my walk with such lovely colours and patterns on. I just love roses. They're some of my favourite flowers to get snaps of. I then got myself some lunch from One Stop. I got myself some chicken Caesar wraps. Chicken Caesar is one of my favourites. I love a chicken Caesar wrap and a chicken Caesar salad. Me and Tash both love chicken Caesar. And I then got one of those Miller yogurts with the white chocolate and dark chocolate bubbles on. I got myself a drink for work this evening and a drink for the walk back. I then headed back and I had my drink for the walk back as it got so hot. And then I got home and I had my Caesar wraps and some barbecue hoops, and they are my favourite type of hula hoops. They're so delicious. And my Miller yogurt, and with a little bit more of The Last Romeo, and was working on some more illustrations, throwing some of those in. And then I was watching Hook, which is probably one of my favourite Robin Williams movies, that and Miss Doubtfire. And then my dad got back from being at golf with my brothers, and I gave him his card and present. And my mum and dad went off to feed our family friends' cats who are away on holiday. I then was just watching some episodes of Friends, listened to a bit of music, and I got my uniform ready for work and got my bag ready with my drinking for work. And my mum and dad got back and the others came over to celebrate Dad's Father's Day, and we're now going to be playing some games and just going to be chilling before going off to work this evening, and just see you a bit more of the vlog later on. It's late on in the evening now and I'm back from being at my evening shift at work. I had work doing 6 till close, so I got into work, I got clocked in and put my bag away and got my drink out to have for work. I had some of that and it was me, Tash and Dave on shift, and I was running lots of food and drinks, doing lots of food and drink orders and drinks making and cleaning tables inside as well as outside. I had a lot of people outside enjoying the lovely sunshine and blue skies. Lots of people ordering cocktails and apple spritz and milkshakes and smoothies, so we were making lots of cold drinks like that. And I saw and chatted to a load of the regulars, and then we had a quiz on at 8:30 and Tash was doing the quiz whilst me and Dave were on bar doing lots of pint pouring and then getting loads of the cleaning and clothes jobs done that we could get done. And then Dave finished early, so it was then just me and Tash. And after the quiz finished, it quieted down a little bit and we smashed out the last few clothes jobs that we needed to do, and we ended up getting out for about 11ish. I didn't thank Tash for a lovely shift, and then I clocked out, got my bag, got my hat on, and then headed off to get picked up by my mum. And whilst waiting, I was sat enjoying a little bit of the cold breeze that we had as it cooled down a little bit, thankfully. And then I got back, I got into my PJs, and then for my tea I had some fish and chips, and I'll show you guys that. The fish and chips that I had for my tea were so delicious. I absolutely wolfed them down. I was so hungry. I then finished writing my journal entry for today, put that away, and I'm now off to go and watch today's Love Island. And hope you guys have all had a lovely week and weekend, and all have a great new week ahead, and I'll see you with a new vlog very soon.